Okay, hey guys, what's I can't take this seriously. Shit. Okay, so I modified this because I'm gonna be reading a story instead of playing a game, but I'm using my game overlay just because it's a nice overlay and I liked it. I paid a lot for it. Paid honestly way too fucking much for it, but okay. So I wrote a story fucking million years ago. Just about a million years ago. And I was scrambling through some of my old stuff and I found it. So I transferred it into a notepad last night, and then I just put it on Google Docs. It's pretty short. It's only 14,000 words. Okay, I'm messing. It's not. It's 1,240. I think it was pretty short, and it is a very very fucked up story. And I have Mother Fam here to commentate with me. Okay, I am back. They know it's a fucked up story. Here, I'm gonna actually. Okay, there. Now the story. Technically, the story does have a name. It's a very weird name, so I'm not gonna say it out loud. I gotta think of a new name for it, so maybe you can help me afterwards, Motherhand. Let's begin. One day, on a nice and cold evening, I was sitting on my porch like an immaculate rabbit, eating chrysanthemums. Except I wasn't eating chrysanthemums. I was eating a Pop-Tart, covered in hot fudge and butterscotch. Shut up! What a mute your sorry ass bitch. Fuck it, no, give me a second. There you go, bitch. Now you're super muted. You can always type something if you need it. I was about halfway through my third one when a square in the concrete opened. I walked around that square the entire time I've lived there, and have never seen solid concrete open. Then a frog popped its head out and looked at me. Then it asked me, "Do you have any Pokemon cards in this world?" All I did was stare at him for a couple moments, and then he asked me again, "I asked you, do you have any Pokemon cards in the world?" And while thinking, can I have one of those Pop-Tarts? I got up, went inside, closed the door, and toasted some more Pop-Tarts. While they were toasting, I went into my room and got the Pokemon cards out of my little dresser. I went back out to the kitchen, and immediately the Pop-Tarts popped up. I went over to them, set my Pokemon cards on the table, got a plate, got the Pop-Tarts out of the toaster, grabbed the cards, and went outside, hoping that he wasn't there and that it was all just my imagination. My bad luck struck me again, as when I got out there, he was sitting there looking at the ground. He finally looked up and said, "Why, thank you, creature. My family loves them." I looked at him with curiosity and mumbled, "Your family?" Almost instantly, three more frogs, ranging in size, popped out of the hole. With a statue. With a, what is that word? I don't know. I believe it's, I don't know. With a glare almost unseen before this. I handed the Pop-Tart to him and he shouted, "Alakazam!" Which shook the boots off my body. Which, trust me, is weird. But then a $1 bill materialized in front of him. He gave it to me. Then him and his family scarfed down the Pop-Tarts. Afterwards, he asked me what race I was, and before I could answer, he spoke as such. "Well, I don't think you're a predator. Well, unless you're a mutated predator." But me being me, I opened my big mouth and said, "Predators don't exist," with the look of smarts and outclassed on my face, as if I'd won a battle. From deep inside the hole came a low voice that sounded like, "Really? They don't exist? Then what am I?" After hearing that, a massive creature jumped out of a hole and landed on my gate. I finally understood, after staring at it for a few moments, that I was looking at a predator in full armor. It raised its hand into the sky and two 18-inch blades popped straight up. The only words I could mouth were, "Oh shit, I'm fucked." The only reason I was saved or spared, I don't really know which. Give me a second, I lost my thought. But was because the biggest frog raised a hand to the predator and said, "Blades, he's a friend." The predator turned around and walked back to the hole muttering something. I looked down at my feet to see if they were shaking and realized that I still had the Pokemon cards in my hand. I handed them to the frog, and he tried to open them, but he could not. So he asked Blades to do so. Blades opened them, and the frog looked at them. He stopped at one of my bird Pokemon. He touched it, and let a low rumble of the word Alakazam loose. The card grew and laid itself on the ground, and then the Pokemon popped out of the card. And now for our mood break. You're unmuted. Would you like to say anything? It gets very fucking weird. Don't worry, there's always a part two to this. I don't know. Funny thing, there is actually a part two to this. I do have a part two to this story. I'd have to find it. Yeah, I think it's sitting next to me actually. Okay, you're going back on server muted. Or I'll just go on deafen. Okay, I'm back on deafen. Let's see, where was I? The card grew and laid itself on the ground, and then the Pokemon popped out of it. After it came out, it left nothing but a blank card behind, and my expression turned to something like, "Really, dude?" When it started to fly away, Blades jumped up and sliced its wings off with his blazing Masamons, and the frog snatched it on the way down and ate it. Then he did that to several other Pokemon. He stopped at my Rayquaza and said the magic word. This card grew bigger than any of the others. And what did you know? A Rayquaza popped out. Blades tried to kill it, but in the process he got knocked down and knocked out. The frog looked at me and shouted, "Kill that Pokemon, or it'll be the end of your world." I ran inside at top speed, almost flying, and grabbed a gun. A sad, very little gun. When I ran outside, while I was running outside, I loaded it. And as I got outside, right as it was flying away, I took aim and fired. It ended up hitting it in the tail, and it looked back as if it was very, very mad. Then it did what none of us wanted it to do. It used Hyper Beam. Apparently it corrected the Hyper Bear, but the green light shot towards us at blazing speeds. Luckily, the frogs raised my tin can, garbage can, at it, and just like in a movie, the Hyper Beam shot back and just returned to sender. In turn, hitting the Rayquaza with its own beam and nevertheless killing it. It fell back to Earth at terminal velocity, and man, did it hit hard. When it hit, it felt like the entire ground became a paint can and shook with the ferocity of 1,000 grenades. After the frogs were done eating the Pokemon, we went over to help Blades. We took him inside and laid him on the couch. While he was knocked out, I had enough time to show the frog, the food department, technology, and the pool with a portable pontoon. While we were in the pool, Blades woke up and went into my room. He started digging through my stuff like a dog looking for a bone. He found my gold coins and took them out of my dresser. When I walked back in, I screamed because I saw Blades digging through the fridge. After we were all done eating, we went down to the forge. The forge was only down the street, so that was a good thing. But still, nevertheless. We entered the forge and went over to some of the nymphs. She turned around and almost freaked when she saw Blade. Then she looked at me and asked what I needed. I said I needed a very rare weapon. And then we proceeded. We walked over to one of the anvils and started looking through the weapons. We finally chose the Blade of Pain, and the nymph started crafting it right away. When it was done, Blades got it and put it in his pocket. In return, he gave me back my gold coins, and we went on our way. When we got back to our house, we all sat down and started watching TV. After a few, we heard a knock on the door. I got up and opened the door to find one of the forgers. I accidentally forgot to pay everyone, so I did that, and she left kindly. After about 10 minutes, after about 10 minutes after she left, I put in Predator vs. Requiem. Predator vs. Alien Requiem, actually. About halfway through the movie, Blades got mad at the aliens and cut my TV in half. And then there was a knock on my door. To my surprise, it was actually my friend Alec. Oh wait. When I opened the door, not knowing what it was, I was about half expecting another predator. To my surprise, it was actually my friend Alex. After everyone met and we went next door to his house to watch TV since ours was in pieces, every yeah, and then everyone left around 10 and I passed out at midnight. The next morning, I regretted not having my flat screen because I couldn't watch my movies, but hey, no biggie, right? After that day, I never saw all of us together again, but occasionally someone popped by, but we never watched Predator vs. Alien. The end. And that is the story. Pretty short, but hey, that was a fucked up story. The sad thing is how much I got scammed out of that story. I had to pay the nymphs. I lost my TV. I lost Pokemon cards. I lost food, my pool, concrete in front of my house. Yep, this is my true story. This is my autobiography, bitch. Yeah. Oh, that was. Oh, that's sad. Don't worry, this is part two. Even the bulldog hated it. Hey, shut up. I'll be right back. Well, guys, that was actually the story. This asshole's gonna make fun of me during the rest of the stream, so fuck him. No, but if you guys do like it, definitely leave a like down below. And don't criticize me on this. I made this almost a million years ago. This thing was made before any of you guys were even born. Like, come on. I found it in the manuscripts in a hieroglyph. I found it in hieroglyphics in a Egyptian temple. You know, that's where I wrote this because obviously I studied hieroglyphics. But yeah, oh shit, that hurt. But yeah, I will see you all in the next episode. So peace, toodles, and I hope you like part two. Whenever that'll be out, which it probably never will be because this is sad. Goodbye.